Hello, hello. We're back again with another episode of Sunny Fireside Sports Take. And we got a good crew with us, and we're going to talk the strength of sports. There's so many things always to talk about. It is a microcosm of what is happening in the world. If you look at sports, you get everything, a little bit of everything in sports. Ain't that right, Amadou?
Very much so.
It's
Very
across
much
the
so.
board. Something is always happening. I want to talk about the NIL situation with the quarterback for Tennessee. Let me see what his name is. Phil, you know his
Nico?
name?
To Nico?
Let's go with Nico.
Yeah,
Because the
Nico,
last name
yes.
is
that'll be sufficient. That'll be
Syllables.
sufficient.
So I'm gonna do what you think about what's happening with that.
Well, my first thought was you're not there's no guardrails to the NIL. So it's a wild, wild west right now, and everybody's trying to figure it out. And Nico is trying to push the envelope a little bit to see what and where he could get. And right now, as it stands, it's not looking as promising as he thought it would be because UCLA is going to offer him 1.5 mil in comparison to 4 mil that he was looking for, and it's not going to go his way. They're not going to let, for a better term, they're not going to let the prisoners run to jail.
I was gonna say that.
Well, that is a term right there. OD, what you think?
Oh man, I think they really should put a cap on some of that. Because some of these kids may not even be a good pro at the end of the day. So they're trying to get as much money as they can up front. I don't blame them for that, but is it going to take away their love of the game? I don't know. I don't know. Because everybody on the team not getting NIL money.
I agree, but the only thing I remember is for so many years they were exploited. For so many years. Now it should be some kind of in between these excessive requests and what they had got before. That would be the fair thing. They haven't came up with that barometer yet, but it's too extreme on the one hand, and then not enough on the other hand. Paul, you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with everything y'all said. I don't know how they're gonna find a happy medium. It's supposed to be colleges of higher learning, but I guess it's just like politics. We got all the brains up there, but nobody can do nothing. So who's gonna fix this problem?
I believe they'll find a way to eventually, govern themselves because players are going to ask for a ridiculous amount of money, and universities are going to say, we just can't give that. Either you stay here and develop and wait for your big contract in the NFL, or you go find a team. Maybe there's a team available for you, maybe there isn't, and then you sit out and you don't get developed. And that's at your own detriment. Are you willing to do that to yourself? That's what it comes down to. Because coaches are going to make their money regardless.
One
I
thing
don't think they
that
can
somebody came
transfer
up with.
with their own conference, can they? They have to go outside their conference, their current conference
do.
they're in, right?
They have to go outside.
They do.
One idea was make them employees of the university, but that would lock them in, and they can't utilize the
Hold
transfer.
on 1 second.
Go
You
ahead,
you don't have to transfer outside your conference. The guy just left Baylor to go to BYU, and they're in the same conference.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he got more money at BYU than they gave him at Baylor. Just a correction, just so you know.
Yeah, I didn't know how that was working actually.
Yeah, you can. You can transfer everything in your conference. That's just go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry, I just had to get that.
No, that's okay. We trying to get down to this important issue because it's going to have ramifications for many years in the realm of sports, and they're trying to correct what was a travesty many years ago and trying to correct it today, but it's going in such a way it may be not beneficial in the long run for that student. Let's say he makes $4 million now, but doesn't go to class, and he wasted all this $4 million, and they're not going to feel any obligation. So he might be up a creek. But if they have some kind of barometer barrier or something in place that can help him, maybe they have it that he can go back to school for free. That might be a thing. I don't know.
It is creating a havoc. It really is, because think about it. You got like over 100,000 guys in the transfer portal right now. And right now, you have a lot of the NCAA coaches that are extremely frustrated with the whole situation. What they're saying is a lot of these guys are getting these big deals, and then they're not motivated to come out and practice. You can't tell them anything. They think that they know everything because they make more than some of the coaches are making. So it's really creating havoc. So they're going to have to find some kind of way to scrap the system and come up with a better system than what they have.
I think they're going to put a rush on that because it's affecting everything. And there are some minds going to come together and work on it. I'm sure there are people working on it now. In my background, I have soccer. Does anybody keep up with soccer? Paul, you know about it?
A little bit.
I
have go ahead, Carl.
Amadou?
I keep up with a little bit of soccer. I play soccer myself, but I haven't watched it in a long time, but I keep up with it a little bit.
It's the most popular sport actually in the world.
It's the cheapest sport to play.
Cheapest sport to play. Now, how many different conferences are there? There's USL, then there's the Premier League.
There's too many. Too many.
Leagues? Yeah, way
too many. There's the Premier League. There's the Euro League. There's what's it called? There's the Super League. There's the Deutsche League. Turkey has a league. Every country, Italy has leagues. They have first division, second division, third division. It's crazy. But if you're gonna go that route, there's too many soccer teams to talk about.
You was gonna say something?
You know the only soccer game I ever been to in my life? I went to the World Cup in Dallas.
Okay.
Because my company, I was supporting our computer systems there. And I had never been to a soccer game in my life, and I got a press pass to go to every game. That was the only soccer game I've ever been to in my life.
Did you feel some electricity?
It was a trip. It was wild, the way they were gravitating toward that sport but to me, honestly, it was just boring. It take too long to score.
There's nuances. If you learn the rule, just like watching American football. When I first started watching American football, I'm like, what the hell is this nonsense? They're just pushing and kicking each other. I'm like, this is goofy. But then I played Madden and got to learn the rules through Madden. That's how I got to learn about American football. Learn the rules. And then it became very exciting. And you're like, wow, this is really intelligent. Because in soccer, just like in basketball, you start out with the formation. Everybody is in their position. And then once the play begins, it's all about chemistry. So you know where your player is, where your player isn't. You know about that chemistry. So that works. But as far as football, football is very choreographed. Soccer is not so much. You start out with your formation. You have your strikers, you have your midfielders, you have your defenders, you have your goalkeeper. But after that, once the ball's kicked off, all hell could break loose and everybody could do what it is that they do, hopefully in sync and in unison.
You have to be in shape. You have to be in shape to play soccer.
100%. 100%.
There ain't no fat people playing soccer.
Yeah, all they do is run. They run it back. All they do is run.
Purpose is defeated. If you're going to play soccer and you're big, you're not going anywhere.
Right. Next thing you get, you got timeouts and you got free throw shooting and you got plenty of times where you can rest. Yeah.
I go to a soccer game every weekend. I go to about 4 or 5 every weekend. My grandson plays, and I learn a lot of things. I overheard a guy said in like Italy or London, they're professional football teams and they don't have a lot of land over there like they have in Texas. They have like a division in football. They have all those professional teams in one area, in one city. And all the leagues that y'all just named, they have that many on every level and they're all in the same city. So that's how much is dominated over in Europe. It's more than you could ever imagine.
They're trying to make it normalize it here in America, but it's having still a little difficulty. In Houston, we have the Dynamos, and every now and then I hear about them, but I don't know whether they winning or not. I don't know whether they're in season or not, but they do have a stadium over there, and I pay attention sometimes. But soccer is an interesting worldwide sport, so I'm gonna start talking about it here and bringing it up, and looking up the statistics.
Please do. Please do.
But I want to say my favorite sport, of course, is track and field. And track and field is at the height right now in season. We got the regional here in Texas going on. But I also want to talk about Michael Johnson's Grand Slam that he has going on. The current Grand Slam, I don't know if it just finished, in Jamaica, where Sydney McLaughlin-Aroni and Gabby Thomas participated and did very well. What's going on in the regional here, Paul?
The finals are tomorrow. I watched the little prelims on television today. The finals are tomorrow. You got a lot.
Wait a minute, they had the regional on TV?
Well, I have an app where I can get.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The finals are tomorrow. It changes every year. Last year, Atascocita, and you had other schools that were powerhouses. After 1 year, they moved on to college. Something I want to bring up though, the Katy schools, Katy, Bridgeland. I can name about 7 schools. Seven Lake, Katy, Mady. They have a lot of schools. It's a lot of talent out there for whatever reason. It's probably about, well, I guess the parents out there must have a lot of money. Money don't make it better, but it can get your kids special training. They got long jumpers, pole vaulters, hurdlers. You don't brag on the Katy schools because you're not gonna find 4 brothers sprinters that's breaking record. But other than that, they individually, that area is Fulshire. You can just go on the west side is because we grew up Sunnyside, Third Ward, so we know what that is. But we don't live in the world we used to live in. We're going north, south, east, west right now. So
yeah, back in our day, we dominated track and field and the outside districts. Every now and then, unless it was Galveston Ball, every now and then maybe somebody would creep in. But now the outside districts like Fort Bend and all of those districts, they dominate. But of course, Texas was number 1, almost Texas, maybe Florida in track and field back in the day. But it's a national thing now. I'm about to go to the Penn Relays on the 25th. And of course, Quincy Lewis is there, who ran for the Olympics last year. And that's going to be an interesting thing. And I look forward to it. And always there's somebody out there that's hustling. And this is a World Championships of track and field year. So it's going to be some great times.
Well, one more thing, Carl.
Track is my sport. Go ahead, Paul.
Fort Bend Marshall, I think they won 8 regionals. And that's pretty good in the state of Texas. I think they tied with 8 other schools that won 8 regionals. And if I'm not mistaken, I did a little research. Worthing is one of them. Of course, a lot of that happened in the 70s, but 8 is 8.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if y'all know this, but my dad's in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame for track and field from Jack Yates.
Oh, really? Who was that?
Odis Lewis.
Oh, Odis. Okay.
Odis Lewis Sr.
Okay.
But they dominated.
Know that, OD.
Huh?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, he got inducted into Texas Sports Hall of Fame track and field.
Awesome.
Okay.
How recent was that, Odis?
Oh, it's been a while, man. It's been a few years back, and what was a trip who I saw showed up there. Their father got inducted the same day. Jamie Foxx come walking in there and stood next to my table looking for his dad.
Wow.
Oh, really? His daddy was an athlete as well?
Well, he went to Terrell, Texas.
From Terrell, Texas.
Right.
And he was an athlete, he played quarterback.
Yeah, my dad is a Yates alumni.
Okay.
I didn't know your dad went to Yates.
What year he come out, Odis? You know what year?
My daddy came out in 59.
59.
I think 59.
Okay. Well, he went to school with my uncle.
58. And he know if your uncle's still around and you ask him about Odis Lewis, I bet you know him.
No, he transitioned 2 years ago, but he was a star point guard on the Jack X team, the 59 team, and the 60 and the 61 team. He was a starting point guard.
Wow.
Yeah, Yates ran the city back then.
Yeah.
I hope there's no Wheatley people looking.
Well, guys,
but it's true. They did the basketball. Yates did the football.
They did.
Right. Track and field was kind of Yates more so. That's true.
Speaking about basketball, we are in the playoffs right now. It's just starting. Anybody got a report on the game? Jeff, what's happening?
They at halftime now. It was I think they're down 9. Miami's up 9 at the half. It's at halftime right now.
I watched Atlanta. I don't think they have to be honest, a chance. They got to get a more competitive team. They messed up when they got rid of Nate McMillan, in my opinion. But you know, they're getting rid of these coaches like nothing. You know, they keep recycling like Budenheiser and Nick Nurse and Quinn Snyder and all these guys, and don't recycle Byron Scott and some of the other coaches. So I don't think that's so fair. But hey, what do we think the Rockets are going to do this year? They're against their nemesis, the Golden State Warriors. Paul, what you think?
They got a good chance against Golden State. This time last year, I felt more like they were kids. And they're age-wise, they probably still are kids, but I don't think they're kids NBA-wise anymore. And I think they're ready to compete. I know they're going, you could youth against wisdom and experience, but I'm going to take the young legs. I'm just rooting for the home team.
I'm going to take the young legs, too. I think they're going to win the first 2. And if they can win the first 2, they're gonna probably take it, but it may go 6. I think it may go 6. OD, what you think? Oh, he's off. Phil, what you think?
Well, if they ever were going to beat them, now is the time, because they've had other chances and gave it back to Golden State when they should have beat them. So you don't get too many chances like this, but you can never rule out a team with Stephen Curry on it, and Jimmy Butler's always hungry in the playoffs. So it's no slam dunk, but I'm like Paul, I'm just rooting for the home team, like to see it done. I can't imagine them doing it in less than 6. That would be very impressive if they were able to do that.
I agree. I don't see it less than 6, but hey, if Udoka lines them up correctly and does the right mixing and matching, I think that team can have such an effect on defense. Now, the key is, can they keep up with Stephen Curry running around and kind of limit him? Armando, who do you like in the playoffs? What other teams are you paying attention to as a dark horse?
The Lakers.
The dark horse?
Yeah, they're dark horse. They got Luka, they got LeBron, they got who's the third guy there, the white guy?
Reeves.
Austin Reeves.
Yeah, Austin Reeves. All right, so Austin Reeves plays offense and defense well. Luka plays a lot.
They got to beat Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards, one man. You got Luka, he could score. You got LeBron, he could score. They could both take over the game at any point in time. Anthony Edwards could get frazzled.
One man though, because they got Nas Reed. Nas Reed is a good player. I don't necessarily see them, but they got the 3rd pick. I mean, they got the 3rd seed. That's the thing that's going to save them.
What happens in the playoffs is it's always about experience. You've never, and when it comes to the NBA anyways, you've never seen where a young team comes in and takes over a veteran team. They have a difficult time at it.
See, now that's where I always tell you, I'm gonna do. You stick to the generation you accustomed to. I'm gonna give you a scenario where Denver was young with Mutombo and all those young guys. They beat a #1 seed. It happens.
It happens. It's outliers happen all the time. But as of recently, there hasn't been a young whippersnapper team that came in. They had, the young star, and they're like, okay, we go to the playoffs.
But it just happened last year with Minnesota for me. For them to break their team up like they did, I don't know. But Anthony Edwards, they defeated a veteran team in Phoenix, blasted them. Then second round, they eliminated the Lakers. Am I right? I mean, did they eliminate them last year?
No, they didn't eliminate the Lakers.
Was it Denver? Don't get me wrong.
It was Denver. It was Denver.
Okay, but they still. I like what you said earlier, though. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying it does happen. But I like what you said. I like what you said about the dynamics of teams being versus experiencing youth. It's just
so
we're getting ready to see the same thing with the Rockets and the Golden State Warriors. Just what you just said. We're getting ready to find out.
All right, let me chime in here. Let me chime in here. All right, my view on the Rockets series versus Golden State. Of course, quite naturally, of course, I want the Rockets to win. But if I'm betting my money, I got to go with Golden State in the experience factor. It's going to come down to how the officials call the series. If they call a lot of tick-tack fouls, then we could be in trouble if they call a lot of tick-tack fouls on our young players. But if they call the games consistently, then I think we have a chance. But I just got a feeling that the referees, they're going to have an impact on the series at some point or another, because I really believe that the NBA want Golden State to be in the second round to go up against the Lakers. I really believe that's what they want. So I'm just saying, I think Houston can do it, but Houston's going to have to play sound defense, and they got to make their free throws. Houston's one of the worst they're one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the entire league. They got to get their free throw shooting up to about 78%. If they can do that, they'll beat the Warriors. But that's a huge
side of that, I just think you almost said the absolute truth. They're one of the better defensive teams too.
Yeah, that's true. I got to go with Golden State. I don't think that Houston's going to beat them. I think Golden State 4-3.
The X factor in the Houston Golden State game has to be Jimmy Butler in my mind, because when he played for the Miami Heat, he's like an ant, right? No matter what you do, you can't get him off of you. He's always finding a way to crawl.
He's done it for every team he's been on in the playoffs. It's not new. He's done it on
No, it's not new. So that's gonna be the sticking point for for Houston. That's gonna be the claw that's stuck on them, and they're like, get off me, but they won't. So Houston cannot afford to make any mistakes, but Golden State will and be able to get away with it.
And Butler is from Tomball, right down the street in Houston, so he's going to be feeling real good about things.
Golden State has they run a small offense a lot. They take out the big guys. They don't have a lot of big guys. They run a small offense, so Houston can defend those guys. And if they shoot the ball and don't get a rebound, that from the games I've seen them play Golden State, it throws them off a rhythm. You know, they don't get 2 or 3 shots. When they miss, Houston gonna get the rebound. So when you play defense like that and can control the boards, you always stand a chance, I think. That's another
All right, guys, this is how I have it. I have Golden State over Houston. I have the Lakers over the T-Wolves. I have the Denver. I have Denver over the Clippers. I have OKC beating the winner of Dallas, Memphis. And then over in the East, I have Milwaukee beating Indiana. I have Boston beating Orlando. I have Detroit beating the Knicks. And then I have Cleveland beating the winner between Miami and Atlanta, who's playing right now.
So, Jeff, who are the 2 teams going to be in the championship?
I'm going with Boston, and I'm going with OKC.
Okay, let's see who everybody thinks going to be in the championship. Amandu, who's going to be in the championship?
Who's going to be in the championship? It's going to be Boston and the Lakers.
Boston and the Lakers. You stuck on the Lakers, my brother. Phil.
No, here's the thing, right? I know Phil said, I mean, every now and then the outliers happen, but it has to be 2 veteran teams in there. It's going to happen. It has to be teams that are veteran laden. They could play, and the teams have to kind of, close out games, and you need veterans to close out games. Now, sometimes the young Bulls, they make the mistake of getting in the moment and being nervous. And when that happens, just like in the championship game when Houston, the Cougars.
Mandu, you ever heard of a changing of the guard?
No, it happens. It definitely happens. Yeah, but it's not yet.
I disagree. We'll see. Phil, what you think?
Well, Oklahoma City's been biting at the ankles of the championship for a little while, and it's kind of hard to see anybody beating them in the West, but it's possible. Everything's possible. In the East, either it'll be Cleveland or Boston, and I like to see Cleveland because they've been hanging around on the edges here for a little while, and that would be a new, fresh opportunity to see new teams in the finals. But of course, like Amadou said, veteran experience and all that stuff, it's very crucial and vital. Boston has plenty. They don't have any injuries. They stay healthy. Yeah, they'll be there. But if somebody can beat Oklahoma City in the West, man, that'll be pretty impressive. But I don't think it's going to happen. So those 2 teams, to sum it up in one swoop answer, I'll say Boston and OKC, but I'd like to see Cleveland come out the East instead. But I can't see anybody beating OKC in the West.
I know the NBA call. The NBA will
hold
love.
on, Jeff. Hold on. Let me
Okay,
go to Otis.
all right.
Otis, are you there?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I can. I agree with Philip. I don't see it. It look like it's gonna be OKC in Boston, man. At the end of the day.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
we know surprises have happened before. Going back to the first OKC when they had Harden and Durant and they had Westbrook. That was a surprise.
Yeah. But that was the young team Amadou was talking about that did slide in. I missed that one. But they went up against a Miami Heat team they weren't going to beat.
Yeah. You're right. That was a team, but that team showed they
veteran experience.
Because, Dallas came back and beat them.
True. But also you had when LeBron James first got to Miami and they got to the finals and Dallas beat them. Those were both teams experienced. But but Dallas had been hanging around the fringes for a little while with Dirk. So sometimes the same thing I've seen in football. I don't see it in baseball as much, but in football and basketball, you see teams climbing that ladder. And sometimes they finally get on over there. Other times they just never do. And when they finally do, you see the exhilaration, all the hard work, and they start out as a young team. But here's the problem nowadays. It's hard to keep young teams together in most sports because when that rookie contract up, and if they play well, you can't pay them.
Yeah, that's a new thing. Paul, who are your choices?
For all the reasons y'all said, Jeff said, if I had to put my money on it, I'll take OKC in Boston.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Jeff, give us an update in the score.
Right now, Miami's up on Atlanta by 10. We're only 1 minute to the second half.
Okay, you were gonna jump in on that. What was you gonna say? You were gonna jump in on the playoff.
I think the NBA. I think the NBA would love to see Boston versus the Lakers because those are the two biggest media markets. They would love to see that. So I'm just saying, if it's close, I think the officials are going to make sure they make an impact to make that happen. I really believe that. If it's close.
The innate biases kick in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, think about it. We're talking about LA and Boston.
However,
think
I
about
may
LA
be in
and
the
Boston.
minority, I don't ascribe to a planned official intervention. I don't subscribe to that. However, you know, you had a whole bevy of officials that they were into bribes. I forgot the official's name. You all remember he got kicked out.
Yeah.
And so it was proven that he was cheating.
Right.
So I don't know. But I just don't.
But he's not the only one.
Huh?
He's not the only one. He's just the only one that got caught. Just like when Mitchell Wiggins, and Lewis Lord got kicked out of the league for drugs. They weren't the only one in the league doing drugs. They're just the only ones that got caught.
His name is Tim Donaghy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, Jeff, what about the year-end awards? Is Alexander finally gonna win, or is Joker gonna win again? Joker averaged a triple-double. It's hard for them to deny that. It's hard. Jeff,
it's gonna be hard. The only thing that helps Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the fact that his team is the #1 team in the entire NBA record-wise. So that's gonna help him. But Jokic's numbers are just astronomical. A triple-double, I mean, that's amazing. I've never seen a big man average a triple-double. Never. So that's extraordinary when he's able.
Listen, OKC's story's better, so Shai may win it because of that.
Oh, it's his turn. That's how the NBA is. He's gonna get it.
It was his turn last year, I thought.
No.
This was his turn.
It was, but this one's guaranteed.
I was saw
matter
it more appropriate last year.
I'll go further and say this: Stephen Curry got one of James Harden's MVPs.
I agree with that.
Yeah, there's always a case to be made.
Yeah, so it can happen. Yeah, they can give it to Jokic, but it should be Shai Gilgeous. But it happens. Who they like, they like who they like.
I believe Nash got one of Shaq's MVP.
No, he got one of Shaq. Shaq should have had it that year.
Oh, okay.
Shaq should have had it that year.
I knew it was something like that.
No. Steve Nash got one of Shaq's.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, I think you're talking about Harden. I was just talking about Harden.
Well, I was saying Kobe should have won that year. He hit 81 points.
Oh, I didn't. Who won it that year? Who won it?
I thought it was Steve Nash.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember.
He won 2, I remember.
Yeah, he did.
But Jeff, who's going to be the 6-man winner? I think it's going to be Peyton Pritchard. Who you got?
Oh, I didn't get that one. I got Rookie of the Year, Player of the Year, and Coach of the Year. So y'all
okay,
go ahead and talk about
those.
6-man.
Give us those.
Okay, my Rookie of the Year. Okay, my Player of the Year is Shea. My Rookie of the Year is Stephon Castle, the guy I wanted Houston to take with the 3rd pick last year. Or I either wanted them to take him or I wanted them to take a big man. If you go take a big man, take a big man. But if you go take a guard, take Stephon Castle. And instead, they went with Reed Shepherd.
Remember last year? Castle, the 2 kids from UConn. That was the other guy that I liked. We talked about that. Okay. Castle and the big kid, they went to Portland.
Yeah, Klingon. Yeah. Right. So that's who I wanted. If we're going to take a guard, I wanted Stephon Castle. So I think he's going to be Rookie of the Year. I think hands down, he'll be the Rookie of the Year. And then Coach of the Year, now that's going to be a tough battle. Because I like what Udoka has done with here in Houston. Now, they won 52 and 30, but they could have easily gone 54 and 28. They weren't trying to win those last 3 games. But you also got to think about Mark Dango, the OKC coach. I mean, they got the best record in the entire NBA. Then you also got to think about what Detroit's coach, JB Bickerstaff, has done. That team has come from being the worst in the league for the last 6 or 7 years to all of a sudden now they're in the playoff team in the East. So JB Bickerstaff has done an outstanding job. But I think it's going to come down between Udoka and the OKC coach, Mark Dango.
He won it last year. I don't see him winning it again this year. Mark Daggett.
You going with Udoka? You want to go with Udoka?
No, I'm going to go with Bickerstaff.
Okay, Bickerstaff. What about you, Phil?
I think Udoka should win it, but I wouldn't have a problem with Bickerstaff or the coach from OKC because he has done an outstanding job. They won even more games this year. So, but if I had to really give a vote and I had a vote, I would vote for Udoka because he came into a mess. Them other guys inherited pretty good situation. Well, not so much Bickerstaff. That's why I wouldn't have a problem with him winning.
Yeah,
but,
that's why I got
has done even more so than Bickerstaff has, although he only had a short time, and this is Udoka's 2nd year. So,
okay, I want to switch tone a little bit.
6 years. Go ahead.
I want to switch tone a little bit. Od, I want to ask you a question. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just put you on mute so you don't hear that background noise.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. Is Angel Reese doing too much? Out there. She's out there everywhere. She's on social media. Is she doing too much and not concentrating on playing basketball and doing her job?
Like I say, I can give you an example that I can put together. Kaepernick said one too many things, and that system will eliminate you, regardless on her talent or not. She probably should cut back on some of that rhetoric.
She just bought her mama a house, so she's putting together some money, some riches, and maybe that career doesn't last as long. I mean, that's just an outlook, but it is a question because she's out there everywhere in everybody's conversation. So I don't know, but that, in my opinion, just really talks to the level of the women's league and what is their role that they should be doing. Are they supposed?
They should get more money. They should get paid more money.
Okay, and is there such a thing as trying to be ladylike as well as a competitive athlete?
Yeah, she's just speaking her mind, at the end of the day. But, this system is set up to where, they'll blackball you at any given time. But that league needs, maybe that league needs a kick in the butt, as far as to pay those women, man.
Well, they just now really starting to earn the money in the stands that would drive up the ticket prices and the income, as well as having a TV contract that will help pay them also. Paul, what you think about where the women's league is going?
It's looking better every day. They should make more money. They got some rebels in the league, but I mean, it's a new league and they up and coming, so I don't want to crush their vision. You're right, he could be blackballed. I don't like everything that she does, but hey, people are different and she's a go-getter, so I don't want to crush her dream. And when she's out there between the lines, she can ball, so.
Carl, let me chime in here.
Okay, go ahead.
Angel is just extremely outspoken. She's got a very strong personality, and you're not gonna shut up. You're gonna have to understand that Angel is into everything right now. I mean, she's everywhere. Every time I look around, I see her. There she is. There she's there. She's got an opinion on everything. She does these podcasts. Where she's interviewing people. She's everywhere. She's getting her hand in everything, and I can understand why. If her WNBA salary is only $76,000 a year, then she has a right to go and do everything she can to increase her income. So I applaud her for that. She's finding all these various revenue streams to be able to put money in her pocket so she can be able to support herself and perhaps support her mother. So I don't fault her for that. I do think, yes, the WNBA should make more money, but it's because they're working with an uphill struggle, because you have to understand they owe the NBA tons and tons of money, because the NBA has having to but having to fund the league, and they owe the NBA a lot of money. So it's going to be difficult, because right now their basketball percentage is what the NBA get. Those guys, their salaries are tied to the basketball related income, which is 51% of the basketball related income. Well, the women's basketball related income is a little bit more than that. The problem is they're not generating enough revenue. So if your revenue is tied to a percentage of the basketball related income, and the basketball related income is small, and the NBA basketball related income is huge, then they're going to make more money over the NBA. You got to find out how to they got to figure out how to market that league better.
I think it's going upward totally. It's going upward.
Not fast enough for them. Not fast enough for those.
You really think the NBA worried about the money that the WNBA owed them? They could care less. Look, just in Angel Reese's case alone, I got two corporations, McDonald's and Reebok. Come on, man. As long as they supporting her, they support the league too. So that's just two that I know of. These ladies are going to be fine. And I said every time it comes up, chill. They're going to be okay. It's on the way. All this stuff is a buildup. Look at the draft the other night. Did y'all not see the draft? It was held just like the college, just like they 50 years behind. That's just like us as a race trying to catch up. Just take time. And it takes people that's going to be willing to do like Angel Reese and step out there. Haley Van Lith played with her in college. They just drafted her to the same team. Watch next year how her game go up, because she got somebody on her team who can get her the ball. She ain't nobody to get her the ball. Everything she got last year came off the glass.
I hear what you're saying, Phil, but it's not changing quick enough for the ladies.
Well,
you're saying it takes time.
That's too bad. But it's gonna change. It's gonna change. But that's too bad. Because guess what? It's a little 10-year-old girl somewhere right now, got her dreams and hopes she got somewhere to go. I can give you somebody who I grew up with who just peaked too soon, who will be playing with them right to this day, and that's Jacqueline Jones. The first year they let girls play high school basketball in the city of Houston, she made all city. She went on to A&M, McLennan Junior College first, and then A&M. There's a lot of girls could play, and it's just that some of them peaked too soon. Now, this day and time, the climate is great. It is good. I understand what you said, and I agree with you. Everything you said, I have no problem with. But let's understand one thing about it. Basketball is still basketball, and people watching. When we had a team here, nobody watched. Now everybody's watching. So the progress is made. And once Tillman gets the team, because Tillman going to get a team here, just a matter of time, and it will be supported because Houston likes winners. I don't care if you're a marble champion. If people find out about you, they will support you here.
Very much so. And they got two new teams in the WNBA. They have Golden State Valkyries, and Toronto has a team. And hopefully Tillman Fertitta will bring the Comets or another Houston team back, or some other owner will. And I just want to mention Ice Cube has brought a Big Three team in basketball here. And Eric Mullins is one of the owners of OD.
Sure is.
Yeah, I saw that. I need to call him and congratulate him. I hadn't got a chance to do that yet.
I text him and ask him for a job
Yeah.
in the organization. I can do something.
He'll probably give you something, man, and you check with him because he already
I'm
know
just
your
jacking with him.
history.
But if I see him face to face, I'm gonna really press him. But I was just jacking with him. But I'm sure I can find something I can do in that organization.
One thing you guys didn't talk about when it comes to the ladies making more money, because people are not watching. People are watching them, but people are not willing to go to the games to watch them. So these ladies need
I'm
to
not
make
sure
themselves.
about that, Amadou.
I don't know about him.
I think
Hold on.
Yes, that was true.
Brand awareness.
But
If you're
Clark
physically appealing,
and
you have
Angel
a
Reese
social media
had more
account.
people in the stands.
Oh,
And
that's
the
just
if
two
you're
teams.
if
Oh,
you
that's just two teams.
Huh?
That's just two teams, though. He may be
Well,
talking about as a whole.
the
As a
new
whole.
number one pick, Paige Booker, or whatever her name is.
Paige Beckers.
Becker.
And so that's three teams. And then on the other teams, you got Breanna Stewart. You got the girl at Dallas. Every team has somebody. Every team has somebody that
no.
especially in the area.
I hear that.
But
brand awareness, right? These ladies have to be aware of their brands, and being aware of your brand is going to bring you more money at this moment in time than playing in the WNBA. Angel Reese is making way more money, I'm sure, outside the WNBA than she is in the WNBA.
Oh,
Most
yeah.
of them.
So the reason why she's everywhere is because there's a brand recognition. People recognize her. So the more she's out and about, wherever she is, whether it's podcasting, whether it's it's entertainment events, that representation brings more to her. Let me just say,
that was the whole idea behind the Unrivaled League, that they wanted to get the most popular ladies in the league. They wanted to get them more exposure, and it worked. That was the 3-on-3 league that they just had. And it worked in that way that they did get a lot more attention. They had a television contract and everything, and that helped them to not have to go overseas. So I see where it's going. And I still say, if they get an OnlyFans account, that'll even help anymore. That'll help even more.
But Angel Wilson ain't hurting either. It's a bunch of them doing a lot of stuff. I mean, it's a few.
It's a bunch of them. It's a bunch of them doing well. It's just like the NIL in college. There's a bunch of people that are stars at their school that do well, and then you got the bottom feeders that nobody's ever heard of, may never get that money.
Like every sports team. Every sports team.
Yeah.
Hey, look, it's like a parade. Everybody can't be the stalker. Who's gonna be on the sideline waving at the people going down the boulevard? You always gonna have that. I mean, if you play any team sports, everybody can't be a star. That's not gonna happen.
That's totally true. Jeff, when is the NFL draft?
NFL draft is next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, man. Thursday, Friday.
Where do we think Shannur Sanders is going to go?
Well, he can go anywhere. I can hear he can go as high as 2 to Cleveland, and I hear he can go as low as 24. He can go. It depends on, because only certain teams need quarterbacks. So I think he can go as high as 2 and as low as 24.
It's in his best interest to go as low as possible.
He won't make it past 10.
Won't make it past 10. Okay.
Is he the best quarterback in the draft?
In my opinion, he was.
He the best quarterback in the draft.
He may
I
not
like
be.
Cam Ward.
He may not be, but from my opinion, and it's a humble opinion because I'm not an authority on nothing. From what I saw, the pro style, Cam Ward is a bad boy. But I tell you what, you line him up, and I give you the first pick, and I take the one you don't want, and I bet I beat you. That's just my opinion.
Amadou, you were shaking your head.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Cam Ward, man. Shador is great. He's had his moments, but to me, I feel like he needs to land in the right spot.
That's
the right
true.
spot meaning a good team, like Lamar landing with the Baltimore Ravens. Wonders for him. Had he landed with any other team up in the top 10, probably wouldn't have worked out for him like this. He probably would have been injured, like RG3, injured and out of the league. But he got matched up with a great organization that was willing to build around him, that was willing to build him up and coach him up, and that leads to your success. Whereas right now, if Shador lands with the Cleveland Browns, it may be another disaster. They may not help him out as much as they should.
You're right. And what about Cam landing with Tennessee? They don't have nothing going right now. Nothing.
They have an offensive-minded head coach. That helps a little bit when you come in the league.
Block? Can he block on the line? Does he have a running back he can turn around?
Hold on.
Okay. And I'm gonna be quiet. Does he have somebody to turn around? The same theory you use for Shador works for Cam too. It's not a big difference. When you go high, you're going high for a reason, because the team that's drafting you is bad. They're not good.
All right. Well, there's this thing that they talk about, tractors and trailers. There's quarterbacks that can pull a team, and there's quarterbacks that the team pulls. All right. I feel like Cam Ward could pull a team, and Shador needs a team to be built around him over time.
And that's your humble opinion. I like it.
That's my humble opinion.
Because it's not a fact. It's an humble opinion. I respect it.
No. It's not a fact yet.
No, it's not. And I cannot wait, because I will fly you from New York to Houston if that transpires just the way it say it does, and buy you a drink in person.
All right.
All right, guys. I want to ask you guys. Okay, I want to ask you guys. We're still on the draft. Talking about the Texans now. Let's talk Texans. All right, I'm gonna go one by one. We're gonna start with Philip. Philip, who do you take? Who do you take if you're the Texans? Hold on. If you got 9 offensive linemen off the board, and you got only 1 receiver coming off the board, so you got a chance at all the other receivers. Who do you take? The 10th best offensive lineman or the 2nd best wide receiver in the draft? Who do you take if you're the Texans?
Yeah. Who is the Texans? It depends on who you need the most. But here's my personal opinion. And I know you were setting that up like a playbook, play action pass, but I'm going to show you how I would handle it. Okay. First of all, my quarterback needs to stay upright. Okay. It's not a lot of guys walking the street that you can throw the ball to and catch. They have a decent stable right now. If I needed a receiver, of course I get the receiver. Then I plan to see my quarterback on his back a lot. But personally, what I saw last year, I'm taking the best lineman. If he can start for me, as opposed to a receiver that can start for me right now, I'm taking the line.
Okay, real quick. If he's the 10th best offensive lineman in the draft, let's suppose he's not good enough.
He could be the 20th.
Let's suppose he's not good enough. What if he's not good enough to be your star? What if he's not good enough to be your star?
Well, I wouldn't pick him.
Okay, there you go.
That's my point. I prefaced it with if he can start for me. I'm only drafting a guy.
Even if he's a good backup, in my opinion.
I'm only drafting a guy that at the 20th pick that I think can start for me. That's a high pick.
I would rather a starting receiver over a backup lineman.
Okay,
that's all I'm saying.
Listen to me. Let me say this. I'm gonna be very clear. They have receivers. They got rid of their whole offensive line. You need linemen.
You said have receivers. They lost the two of their 3 best receivers. They lost Diggs and Tank.
Jeffrey, I believe in culture. And they got 3 or 4. Diggs didn't play but half the season. They don't miss him. The other guys they have been playing with the same quarterback in the season for the last 3 years. Yeah, your other receivers hurt, okay? But you have a good, decent receiver. Jeff, that's what you would do. You can't force me to believe what you believe. I'm saying you take that receiver and be happy. I'm saying I don't have a problem taking a receiver.
I'm debating. Okay, we move on to Odis. Odis,
hold on, Jeff.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I want to ask a question. Where do you think Travis Hunter is going to go?
Travis Hunter could go through to the Giants.
So Travis Hunter could go number 2?
Huh?
Number 2?
He could go 2, but he also can go through to the Giants.
He'll be going.
I think he's going 2 or 3.
He's going 2.
Okay.
Good player.
But in answer to your question, we talked about it last episode, and we came to that answer that the Texans need, in my opinion, offensive linemen. I understand what you're saying. I think it's easier to pick up a wide receiver than a real good offensive lineman. And offensive linemen, it'd be good to have 8 of them, 8 good ones, and then you could rotate them because you need that player at a high efficiency. That's what I would say on that, Jeff. What's your comment?
Okay. I agree with you, and I agree with Phil. You my brothers. I agree with you. If there's an offensive lineman on the board, when we are on the board, that is, I think they can come in and start, I take him over a receiver. I agree with that. But
In
if
my
I don't see
opinion, he
nobody
doesn't have
on
to
that
start.
board that I think can start for me, I want to go with the best player, whether he's a wide receiver or a defensive tackle. I want to go with the best player who can come in and make the biggest impact on my team now.
That I have a disagreement with you. I would
Okay.
have. It's only what? How many offensive linemen? There are 4, right? Plus a center. That's 5. So
Okay,
if I
5.
can have 10 real good offensive linemen that I can rotate, I feel I could get a easier get a wide receiver. But that offensive lineman is a super skilled player, and there's not as many that are that top level. So that's my opinion. And because of what happened last year with the, so many sacks, I got to put the total emphasis on that. I think because if I put my total emphasis on that, my running backs can run better. The receivers I got can catch better. That's all I'm saying.
You could end up
Quarterback
getting a
halftime.
guy that is no better than the offensive lineman you already have. With getting the
That's
10th
possible.
best.
You can make that mistake, but I'm certainly going to put my
Get your
emphasis
receiver,
on it.
Jeffrey. Quit talking about it. Just take your receiver and run, man.
There you go. If
You do. I'm not taking him.
No, Phil. If Kevin Banks is on the board, the boy from Texas, I take him. If he's on the board, I take him. If Josh Simmons from Ohio State, if he's on the board and he's healthy, I'll take him. All I'm saying is, if I don't like who's on the board in the offensive line, I'm not taking offensive line just to be taking offensive line. That's all I'm saying.
Who would do that, Jeff?
I've seen teams do that.
Nobody's going to do that. That's not the point we're making. I agree with you on that.
Yeah,
I've seen the Texans do that.
When they not visible on his back.
Can we poll our audience?
If they don't get an offensive line, then they're gonna need another quarterback.
That's all I'm saying.
They're running the one they have. They don't have a choice. They back themselves up.
Paul, what you say?
They don't have a quarterback.
If all the good ones are off the board, then you take the best.
They don't have a choice. Jeff, they don't have a choice.
What you say?
Yeah,
they don't have a choice. This
But
man went from all-world quarterback. We had the same conversation this time last year when he looked like the next Joe Montana, and we said get an offensive lineman. They didn't take care of their business, and you see what happened this season. They might have to take not as talented player to get an offensive lineman, because if they don't, they backs up against the wall. They have to. If they didn't have to right now, they should have addressed it more in the offseason. So it is what it is right now.
Paul, there are offensive linemen on the free agency market that may be better than a guy who you would take at 25 if 9 other offensive linemen have already come off the board. Give me an impact player. I want an impact player. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well.
When did I not say that?
I think we settled that.
I said a guy that can score. That's impact.
And we got our opinion, so we're not going to settle that right here. We're not going to settle that. Hey, Paul, let me ask you a question. What is going on with the Astros?
Growing pains. They had veterans last year and went through the same thing. Baseball's it's a hard team to put together chemistry-wise, and they got younger players than they normally. So
who did they lose from last year?
Huh?
Who did they lose from last year? What players? The third baseman they lost.
They lost Kyle Tucker, a reliable hitter.
They lost one of their pitchers too, didn't they? Yeah, they lost one of their pitchers.
They lost Presley. They lost Presley. They left one of the top relievers. They lost Presley. They lost another pitcher. They lost Bregman.
Verlander.
Yeah, they lost some leaders. They lost some Hall of Famers, some leaders. They might have been longer too, but they could have kept you out of this. And it's gonna be a long season.
The good thing about it, like Paul was about to say, it's a long season. They still have 144 games to play. They're sitting at 8 and 10. They're only 3.5 games out of first place. So I'm not
make a run.
They did last year.
Oh.
They did last year.
So if they don't, will the coach get fired?
Ooh.
No.
If they stay in last place right now. If they stay in last place, he could be gone.
On paper, they weren't supposed to do this too much anyway.
No, they didn't give him nothing to work with. What they want him to do? Be a miracle worker? I mean, he did a good job last year when they started out the same way. We were on this show. I said, before the All-Star game, you'll see a change. I'm no prognosticator. I'm no authority on what happened, but it did happen. This year, I'm not even going to make that prediction, but I'm not firing him if I'm the GM. Not based on what we left him with.
No.
So even if they end up in last place, you still keep.
Not this year. I give him another chance. I mean, he's just a second year.
Okay.
Well, guys, we are at the end of our show. Everybody, if you have a statement that you want to make or you want to just share something, now's the time. Phil, hit us with the A1.
Well, here we go, guys. This is just something that we need to know about. At some point in life, everybody has to move. And when you do, you need a reliable mover. And the people you want to call in the state of Texas, Amadou, in this area, is called A-Rocket Moving and Storage. Been in business since 1959, proud sponsor of this show. We are a residential, commercial, and business moving company. We can move you, we can pack you, we can store you. Our location is 3401 Quarter, nestled in the heart of Third Ward off of Yellowstone and Peerless, Houston, Texas, 77002. Phone number 713-748-6024. The owner is DeAndre Sam. He's a second-generation owner. He has been a part of this business his entire life. I've been hanging around there a long time, just enough to fall down and pick up information. Jeffrey and Carl has recently stopped by and toured. All knows about it from seeing them downtown, working all the time. So this company is well known in the city. It's a little black-owned, black-operated company that has been in business for quite some time, servicing the Houston area, and not too many people in this area don't know about it. So we're involved with this company. DeAndre and Jeffrey and I and Carl all went to school at some point together. So this is a good organization to call if you have a moving need, commercial, residential, interstate, office, what have you. We'll take care of it. And you can call me too. There's Philip Green, 713-748-6024.
Outstanding.
Amen.
A1 Rocket is Third Ward.
A-Rocket moving and storage. There is a moving company called A1. Don't get it confused.
Okay.
A-Rocket moving and storage.
Oh, I didn't know
There's
that.
A1 moving storage, and that's not us.
Okay.
All right.
A-Rocket. A-Rocket.
A-Rocket.
All right.
That means
A-Rocket.
we move like a rocket.
Okay. Like that.
That's,
All right, guys,
that's,
we
that's
are
the catch.
toward the
Hey,
end
Carl,
of
one
our
last
show.
topic. One last topic, Carl.
And Odis too.
Just real
Odis
quick.
is school with us too now. Don't leave my man OD out. All
What
of us.
did he went to Johnston?
Johnson, that's right. That's right. OD.
Okay. I just have one quick question to ask the panel. Let's suppose that the Rockets, suppose they lose to the Warriors 4-1. Would you keep the team as is, or would you go ahead and try to make that trade, a significant trade?
It's a young team.
Let's go with Paul. Let's go with Paul. Okay, go ahead. Amadou.
I wouldn't disband a second seed in the West. I mean, the West is the West. I wouldn't disband that. If you're gonna have patience this long, you might well have a little bit more patience. Now, there's room for some trades, but Rockets got a lot of talent. I don't care how you slice it. They do.
Okay.
They could use a little bit more. They could use a little bit more firepower, but they drafted that too. And
like you said, it's a young squad. 2 years in, what are you doing waking them up for?
Okay.
Unless you're trying to get rid of
Amadou.
Yeah, unless what's up?
I don't like that scenario 4-1. I don't believe that's going to happen. So cancel that.
What the old timers say, it was a good thing they didn't disband Tatum and Brown while they wasn't winning. You know what I'm saying?
They wanted to. They were sure.
That's the perfect example right there.
Yeah.
So under no circumstances would you make a significant trade if you're the Rockets this summer?
I didn't say under circumstances. I'm just saying. I mean, you're gonna bring in a shooter, score. You got to give up something to do that. If we can win
That's
on
who's available.
yes.
Out there. Is it Jason Tatum?
Sometimes you come out there and hold it.
I would have to know what's going on internally.
Is Jason Tatum available?
I know that's right.
All right. Okay, guys.
Would y'all take Kevin Durant?
I wouldn't. He's too
It depends
old.
on what I got to give up. I would take him. It depends on what we got to give up. If the trade is fair, yeah. But if it's not, no.
If they would
Trades are
take,
never
if
fair.
they would take Lockdale,
We could give up
Somebody's got to
Steven
win.
Adams,
Somebody's
man.
got to lose.
If they would take Lockdale,
In other words, you want to fleece
and Reed
somebody.
Shepherd, I would say
Exactly. That's my job.
as long as I ain't got to give up too much, as you said.
All right, this is the trade I'm hearing. I'm hearing it's going to be Fred VanVleet, Jack Landale, Tate, and Cam Whitmore, and a first-round pick that we got from them in the trade.
That's too much.
That's too much? Okay. All right. Then we're going to make that trade.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
not a big fan of that, but I'll take that one.
The team is not
you
utilizing
take
those
it.
players.
I still say, but see, you
I
got
ain't no
to
big
know
fan of
on
it, but I'll
journey
take that one.
before you can really say that.
So you'll make that trade, Phil?
Look, I don't want to deal with none of that stuff, but what he just said, yeah, I'll take that one.
Okay. All right.
I'll take that
All
one.
right.
I give
I
up.
don't
So
think
you
it'll
would
happen,
make
but
a
I'll
trade
take that
if it's
one.
good for the team. Okay, got you.
If I was GM, I'd give up Steven Adams and some guy on the team named Williams. I heard about him, but it wouldn't be much.
Update, guys. Miami and Atlanta is a good game with 8 minutes left to play. Atlanta just scored and just tied the game.
Whoa.
So they come all the
Trey
way.
Young must be playing.
I don't know
Good
who's
time to
going
watch it.
on.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
if there's no more comments, we can close it out. And in 2 weeks, we'll have Sports Take again. And I'll report back from the pin relays in Philadelphia, and I'll share with you. And we'll keep on checking out the playoffs. By that time, we should know whether the Rockets are for real. We should know.
Yeah,
And
I agree with that.
whether it's going to be
And-
Oklahoma City and Boston. That's who I think is going to be in the end also.
And we'll know who the Texans have drafted. So we'll have our NFL draft recap.
Sounds good. All right, guys. We'll see you next time on Sports Take. And I'll send everybody a video. We'll see you next time.
All right, Joe. All right, my brother.
All right,